I think the American dream was really hijacked away from the Thomas Jefferson ideal of life, liberty, and especially the pursuit of happiness into just the pursuit of stuff.
Will Marré, co-founder of the Covey Leadership Center, helped build The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People into one of the best-selling self-help books of all time. As author, coach, and leadership advisor to Fortune 500 companies, Will has spent nearly 30 years helping people revolutionize the way they live, work, and play.
When I started looking at the American dream, I went back to the beginning. And I said, where did this idea really come from? And of course, it came from the beginning of America, a lecture on something called Beyond Branding. The concept is, how do you create a company that stands for something that people really want to identify with? Not just good toothpaste or not just good cola, but something that people really feel like this company is exactly right for me. So in the process, there was a young woman. She came up to me after the lecture and said, "Can I drive you to the airport? I really want to talk to you." So off we went in her Audi TT, careening down the road, shifting in between traffic. She says, "I've really got a problem, and I just want your opinion on it." I've been with this company for 17 years. She was 37. She said, I was a single mom when I was 20. I became a receptionist for this company. I climbed through the ranks. I got to be a salesperson, then a sales manager. The company got in trouble 3 or 4 years ago. They put me and asked me to be in charge of it. So I did some pretty unusual things. I promised that I wouldn't have any layoffs. And I asked everybody to help come up with ideas to save money and drive revenue. And what I ended up doing is I put, and this is not made up, a custodian in charge of the whole internal process. That's the part that's unusual. This is a custodian, by the way, with tattoos all over his arms, around his neck, everything else. He became on fire with this process of holding group meetings and coming up with tangible projects. In 18 months, she turned the company around. And she said, "I'm really thinking of quitting." I said, "Why would you quit? 37 years old, president of the company, you probably become the CEO." She said, "Oh yeah, they want me to become the CEO." And I said, "What's going on?" "Well, because we got in this trouble, we're owned by investment bankers and they want us to go public. And I know if we go public, we're going to lose our soul. And everything that made this company great and everything I just did is going to go away. Because we're going to have to run the company strictly by the numbers. I just don't want to spend half my time talking to Wall Street analysts when what I really love is this company." So I asked her, "What is your dream?" She thought a little bit. There was silence as we were going down the road. We pulled up to the curb in front of the airport. She said, "Well, if you really want to know, my dream is to change the world." So I got out of the car, and I shut the door, leaned down, put my head in, and said, "I give you permission." And then I said, "Look, you have a great platform. Whether the company loses soul or not is up to you. Why don't you use this platform to change the world exactly the way you want?" She said, "Okay, well, how would I do that?" I said, "You got to tell people. What I'd suggest you do is put your dream in a speech. Gather all, there are about 200 senior executives, gather all the executives, get members of the board there, give your speech, see what happens." 2 weeks later, she did it. It was really a great speech. In fact, she prepared a facsimile of a cover of Fortune magazine 10 years in the future with the date. The company was on it. It had all the great achievements the company was setting for the world, the example of the world it was on. She gave this great speech. Got a standing ovation. There were tears, there were cheers. And even the crusty board members were moved by the heat of her passion. A year ago, the company went public. Its stock has doubled. It's a Wall Street darling. And when she did her road shows, when she talks to analysts, what she talks about is how she's changing the world through this great private education. We can't choose the life we really want unless we get in touch with that really intrinsic side of ourselves. There's only one way that I know. This is how I help people. I say, unplug, listen, and ask. To get there, there is one thing you need to do, and that is to get comfortable with silence. Over time, not over a long time, over time, if you'll unplug, listen, and ask, your soul will talk to you. For most people, silence is terrifying. I'm a surfer, and I always run into people who want to surf. But most of the people stay pretty close to the shore. They only play in the shallow water. The big questions of your life, of who you are, what you really want, why it matters, is only found in the deep water. And you've got to paddle out to get to the deep water. The primary way you paddle out is to confront silence. To use the silence to give you the answers that you're really seeking. To create a space really where those answers come to you. Now, if you can get an idea of your dream, then you can begin to reverse engineer yourself, your life, your decisions, in order to get that. That's what we're talking about. What do I want for my lifestyle? What do I want for my career? What do I want in my relationships? Those are the three questions. This is the American dream, Thomas Jefferson style. Pursuit of happiness. There are three things that have to come together for your dream. Your lifestyle, your relationships, and your career. And to the extent that all those things are supported by each other, in other words, that the career I really want to have will produce the lifestyle I really want to live and foster the relationships that I most enjoy and treasure, life is great. It's called high life satisfaction. To the extent that the career I have takes me away from the relationships that I really enjoy and destroys any chance of living the lifestyle I really long to live right now, my life is nothing but
we have an
stress.
opportunity to live our dream and to help others live theirs.
We have to understand better how to listen, how to engage, how to serve, how to love.
What is your promise to the world?
How good can I make it? How much can I give? Not when I'm Bill Gates. Not when I've got $46 billion. How can I do it tonight? How can I make a difference tonight?
The way the world's going to change is when your world changes.
Change the world right where you stand. Change the world of your child, your friend, your mother, your father. Change your world. Change your life. Change that world. If we were all about changing that world, then the world would change. The world needs your dream because we'll all be a little less without it. My conviction is that the next 20 years is going to be vastly different from the last 25 years. My conviction is that the values that are roaring down the canyons of our culture are going to find expression in ways that we have never imagined. And they have to.